Now this will go in this program called Perockstroika.
What?
Perockstroika.
Okay.
You don't need to say that.
I won't.
And we have the it's a sort of magazine, so we will talk about a little bit of first of all this solar thing, and then after the first part of the interview I will ask you just 2 questions, but for then another part in the program which is more dedicated to the hit parade stuff. So then I will talk shortly music, 2 questions, and that's it. Okay.
Well, I'll just answer whatever you...
Yeah, of course. Je suis pas dedans moi.
Je suis assez content parce que
Ouais, ok.
avec autre chose.
Ouais, ok. Alors tu me dis quand t'es prêt. Okay, Morten, could you just tell me where we are?
Where? Well, you're the Swiss. I'm in Bern. I don't know about you. And there's something going on down here, which is actually quite interesting.
It's not your concert tonight.
No, it's not my show. Although I'm beginning to wonder actually, because all you guys are on my back here. Yes.
Well, this is a solar exhibition.
Exactly. It's a sunny little thing. It's fun. I'm here actually on sort of private initiative because there's been a pretty fierce debate going lately on the environmental issues. I mean, of course, in particular over the last year, and the car factor has been brought up lately by the media, which some of us have obviously been aware of for a long time. The pollution problems, the carbon dioxide from the cars, and also other gases, and this is actually, as opposed to, it's like it's a change for me from all the negative sort of prohibition policy or politics in a way that one is met by all the time. You need a catalyst for your car. I've just bought a new car myself, and I have really no choice. Up until now, I actually realized that you can buy electric cars if you live in a city. Most people live in cities, and in the cities you have the biggest pollution problems. Most cars sort of run. Well, in the cities you have millions of cars basically running constantly all the time. It's a greater pollution factor than on the roads in a way, on the highways. So if one can combat or beat the fuel engine in the cities by using an electric, which is silent and also free from the from the gases, then obviously one is suddenly faced with a positive answer to the problem. And most families, at least in Norway, have 2 cars, and I would say keep the family car for long trips, but get a solar car or an electric car rather as your second car, which you use in the city. They are perfect for this. I mean, yeah.
But on an economic point of view, an electric car is much more expensive than a regular car. So,
Is it?
well, I don't know about these small ones there, but I mean,
what are they? 30? What are they? 3, 4? I don't know in Swiss francs actually, but it's they are far less expensive than regular cars. In Norway they would be anyway, providing the government cut the taxes on these cars, which I would think they would do. It would be a stupid thing to keep the taxes on those cars, because you're doing the government a favor by running in a car like that as opposed to a normal car, simply because it would not pollute. It would not. One is spending enormous amount of money on noise reduction, on shields, and on all sorts of
protections.
yeah, I mean, in a way, we're talking about the real cost of having a car, which is not just buying the car and paying for the fuel, but to pay the cost of the damage caused by having a car, as we have had them up until now. And I'm not after the big car companies, because That's not really the point here. One should not fight the regular normal car. I think people should be able to still have a car, and I think they are. This is one of the answers. It may not be the only one, and there will probably come up new things in the future. But my point really is that today here you have an alternative for the cities, and let's start with that. And I'm positive that the big companies that make cars, whether it's Mercedes-Benz or BMW or Ford or the Japanese ones, they can do this, and they are already doing it. And
Regarding pollution, don't you think that the pollution caused by big industries is far more important than the pollution caused by cars, and then maybe you're fighting, or the people are fighting the wrong people?
No, I don't think so. I think we are fighting a communication problem much more than a technological problem, and you don't start in one area. You start in all the different areas where you can find a little where you see some light, and this definitely is one of those areas. I mean, anyone who lives in a city will know what the air is like there. So clearly, if you swapped all the cars with electric cars, which are silent, there's no noise, and they consume electricity. No, not really. It doesn't mean more electricity, because the electricity you would have had from a fuel engine would be much more, because they consume more energy. You were talking energy, not necessarily electric energy or wherever you get it from. You can have a nuclear little plant in your car, and it would run pretty, fast, I would think.
Say that to the French.
That is possible, but most people don't want that. So we have to look at an alternative that doesn't harm the environment, because after all, most people, even though they may not love nature, although I think most people do, they clearly we are part of nature, and we cannot live without it. So one should work for a change in the areas where a change is positive, and one should also, I would hasten to say, not look for victims one can mob in a way, i.e. talking about different factories, that are polluting. One should give them a chance to change, and the opinion, the people should make. The people is the most powerful factor in a society, more powerful than any politician or any set man. So only by changing, only by the people saying or giving the politicians kind of clear orders in a way as what they want, what direction they want, one can hope for a change. And clearly, having read the World Watch Institute's report, we do need a change. We have no option really.
Do you think that Scandinavian people are more aware of this pollution problems than the European in general, or do you have this same kind of...
Norway is one of the worst countries in Europe when it comes to pollution, and we've not been aware of it up until last year. The general opinion, the general public has not been aware of it. There's been fractions. So there's been extremist groups or environmentalist groups they have been aware of it, and they've been trying to say something. We've had one group now called Bellona, which actually managed to cut through, and suddenly it's just exploded in Norway over the last year. And it's now on top of the bill for every politician in Norway, quite during this last year and a half, I would say. So people are now realizing that Norway is not the clean country we thought to be. And we are one of the worst polluters for the moment in Europe. It appears to be. We're also one of the. We're actually on the bottom of the list of nations that are of the nations in Europe, or the countries in Europe that are when it comes to investment in solar or alternative energy. When I say alternative, I mean alternative to nuclear and oil.
When you say alternative, that means it's another one, or you should cut off the nuclear and regular oil ones?
One should be reasonable, and also one has to be practical about it. You cannot You don't want a war situation, you know. You want to be reasonable and let it take its time, but there is little time. There is very little time as well, you know. So, bearing that in mind, we have the technology to change or to choose another path, and it's a question of the people that are actually in political power realizing this and making it possible for both businesses and people to change. I would love to buy one of these cars, and I will. You know.
But will you be able to bring it back in Scandinavia? Because there is a lot of problem getting these things on the road. I mean, because of the government, because of police regulations and
regulations. Yes, I will just bring it in. I would say I can bring it in tomorrow, and well, that's physically impossible because they're not quite ready. But once they meet the safety regulations that we have, then you can bring it in. And I want it to be a problem, actually. That is, the best thing that will happen would be a refusal, and then it would actually be a big story, and it would change. They would definitely bring it in. Yeah, there are no bad guys in this, really. The glue factor is very strong, and it takes time, and we're fighting time very much, fighting the time that bureaucracy consumes. And that's really one of the worst. And also, you need a positive attitude. One has to see the fun in this as well, because it's exciting. It really is. It is. And this is. It's just so clean in a way. It throws me. This comes from space, basically, in a way. It comes from the space. It comes from NASA, for instance, and because that's where solar has been developed. So, due to the fact that they needed energy in space, they developed the solar cells, and here we are today. And you know, sorry.
Just the problem with the sound. I just have to.
Oh no.
I'll take a bit from you.
Well, anyway, thanks for this first part. Now, a very short one. Il y a un problème avec le son, mais tout le long ou juste la fin?
On passe juste à la fin.
Well, the solar cell was developed due to need for energy in space, and we're sitting here now because there was a need for it, and the government wanted to fund it. They did. So you have an evolution. You certainly have you sit there with a product. Other than that, it's been carried by enthusiasts. So there's been no market for this yet, and still we are this come this far with solar, and with other alternatives as well to certain extent. And it's quite obvious that once this takes off, once there is a market for it, it will explode.
As soon as the major will started, of course. But so far, I mean, they don't. What I don't understand is why isn't there just machines that are built by single individuals and no big company in Europe?
Sorry, I didn't.
Why are these machines, these small cars, built by individuals and not by big companies like General Motors?
Again, because the general public, people like me, don't know. They don't know that this is available. We can have this. You can a cute little car that is silent and doesn't smell worse than your wife or husband anyway. You know, there's no. And you can take it to the shop and get what you need. You can go to work. You can have it in town. And what a brilliant change! What a lovely change for the public in the city to be able to walk around and what it would do to the environment in the city, just socially, is just that alone.
You don't answer my question.
I am, yes. Why? Because people are not aware of it enough yet, so they are not demanding. There's no market, apparently. And when there's no market, there will be no business. The market needs to be triggered.
Yeah, but for the market, you have to tell the people that you can buy that.
Which is what I'm doing.
And the big major don't tell people they can buy that.
No, because still there is big profit to be made in the conventional industry of cars. And there's big investment in these things. So clearly, it makes good sense not to be the ones out or starting this now. But I just want I want it out of the bag in a way. The best thing would be if they started competing on this, because suddenly there is a market, people want it. And if people want something, there are always people who are willing to supply.
Of course.
So again, they're not the bad guys, but simply they are businessmen. It's their living. They make cars. They make very good cars, today. So I know the time factory. So again, let's get the demand up, and I want one. I'm ordering one.
You're ordering one.
Yeah, because they're fun. They really are good fun.
Okay, now 2 last questions for this thing. First of all, talking about videos. You're very much involved in your videos, or not at all? You just go by there, or do you talk with the guys who make the scripts?
Just. I don't know, I can't, my head is blocked when it comes to videos and concerts. Because we've toured, we've done nothing but touring and shooting videos in between for 3 years, no breaks. Apart from that, we've been in the studio a couple of times to make another album. And we ended up, we were just exhausted at the end of this. We had no more ideas basically, because we didn't have any time to sit down and listen to ourselves. That's what we're doing this year. We've ended the 3-year era with Aha, and we're entering a new era basically. And we need this year now to sit and let new ideas come. So that's what 89 is doing with Aha, what we're doing with 89.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You read my point. You got good sense, okay?
What?
You got good sense.
Well, I'm used to it.